The Congress leader V.D Satheesan took oath as Kerala's 13th Chief Minister at a grand event in Thiruvananthapuram, ushering in a united Democratic Front government after a 10-year hiatus. Satheesan was administered the oath of office and the oath of secrecy by Governor Rajendra Vishwanathan Arlekar, and the alliance stormed to power with 102 seats in the 140-member assembly, ending the CPIM-led left rule. 20 members of Satheesan's cabinet were also sworn in. Congress will have 11 ministers in the cabinet. Senior Congress leaders, prominent figures from various walks of life, and chief ministers of opposition-ruled states attended the ceremony. Cutting across party lines, former Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and the BJP MLA Rajiv Chandrasekhar was also present at the swearing-in ceremony. Now, besides the senior party leaders, including Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge, Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, Karnataka Chief Minister Siddharamaiah, Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar, Himachal Pradesh's Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu and Bhupesh Baghel were also present at the occasion. However, Thiruvananthapuram MP Shashi Tharoor was not present at the event, as he is in Boston to deliver the commencement address at the graduation ceremony of his alma mater, the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University. Now, V.D Satheesan, K.C. Venugopal and Ramesh Chanithala were in the race for the Chief Minister's post. Satheesan, at 61, served as the leader of the opposition for the last 5 years, is being credited with revitalizing the party's grassroots base.
I would like to thank the people of Kerala. They have given a good mandate. We'll have to deliver a good message for the country. Mr. Satheesan, Venugopal, Ramesh Chanithala and all the team, the PCC president, all of them work together, including Muralidharan, all the leaders who joined together, and our partners also, our alliance partner UDF, our Muslim League and all of them, with all our parties, they work together. They made the state proud. We are going to deliver whatever we have promised, we are going to deliver. I wish them all the best. The entire our Telangana Chief Minister, Karnataka Chief Minister, our Himachal Chief Minister, Rahul ji, under the leadership of Kharge ji, all of us have come here to wish them. I hope this will be a great moment and we'll take it forward for the betterment of Kerala and this country.
My colleague Verghese is joining me right now to get us more details. Well, Verghese, of course, the Congress infighting about the chief ministerial post between Satheesan, Ramesh Chanithala, Venugopal, that seems to have been buried. And now, of course, Satheesan is going to bring about the new dawn for the Congress in Kerala. But what is going to be the foremost challenges that the Congress party will have to address as Satheesan takes charge?
Well, if you try to in fact see how the situation is emerging in Kerala, well, we do have a lot of front runners for the big cabinet berths, and we did notice that when it comes to the cabinet selection, it is a very important aspect of regionalism, religion, caste. Every factor has been utilized to ensure that there is proper representation as such. Now, the big question that one has to in fact look at is that how Ramesh Chanithala has been incorporated inside the cabinet, and that would be the question that we are looking at, because as a senior person and also a person who has been running for the Chief Minister's post, the accommodation would only come with a major portfolio being given. And already we know that Ramesh Chanithala has already said that when he's taking the oath, he's taking oath to take the home portfolio. So that is something that we are in fact looking at, how that accommodation is in fact taking place, and probably it also gives a lot of chance for the Congress to avoid any kind of heartburns in the coming days. Meanwhile, interestingly enough, let me in fact just highlight the kind of ministries that have been given. We do have Ramesh Chanithala, K. Muralidharan, who are senior leaders who have been incorporated inside the cabinet, and then you have the KPCC chief, Sunny Joseph, who has also been sworn in as a minister. And now the big question would be raised as to who would be getting, or who would be the next KPCC chief. So that is something that has to be looked into. Meanwhile, along with them, a most important aspect of it is that the IUML, which is an important constituent of the UDF that we know, which is headed by the Congress, which has got 22 seats in the current assembly elections. They have been given 5 ministers, and the IUML in fact gets 5 ministries. At the same time, the people who've been sworn in from the IUML are P.K. Kunalikutti, P.K. Bashir, N. Samshuddin, K.M. Shaji and Abdul Ghafoor. So prominent leaders from there. Meanwhile, the other smaller constituents of the UDF, some of the ministers have been Mons Joseph, Shibu Baby John, Anup Jacob, C.P. John, A.P. Anil Kumar, T. Siddiq, P.C. Vishwanath, Roji M. John, Bindu Krishna, M. Liju, K. Tulsi and as well as O.J. Janesh. Now, V.D Satheesan is also in fact named a very prominent leader, Thiruvananthapuram Radhakrishnan, as the Speaker of the Assembly, who comes from the Kottayam region. And meanwhile, Shanimol Usman will be the Deputy Speaker. So MLA Apu John Joseph has been appointed as the government's Chief Whip. Now that goes to the Kerala Congress J faction, Joseph faction, and therefore it looks like all the constituents have had a representation over here. But it's been a very kind of a dicey role of ensuring that all the regions are in fact, and all the political leadership, including senior leaders, are accommodated. Now the big question would be on cabinet berths.
Cabinet berths for sure, Varghese, but as far as the Congress unit in Kerala is concerned, there is a vacancy over there as well. Who could we possibly see taking charge as the next state Congress president for the Kerala unit?
Well, that is the big question that everybody is asking, and there are names like Sudhakar's name who's come in. They want someone who can in fact fight the left with the same aggression as they have seen on how they have been. They don't want a person who's very soft when it comes to taking up the fight. So they are looking for someone who is an aggressive leader on the ground, has got a connect like how V.D Satheesan had, and at the same time who is able to in fact ensure that there is harmony among all the Congress leaders and the ministers, and well as with the UDF constituents. So they want someone who is going to be quite aggressive on the ground to keep the momentum going which they had from the elections, and therefore they want someone who has in fact been tried and tested in left bastions as well, to keep the left on the back foot as of now, because right now the big churning that could be happening in the left is how the meetings of the LDF constituents are going to go, whether there will be change in the Politburo structure, which we have seen, because there is a lot of analysts who have been saying that when it came to UDF, the reason why they got a brutal majority like this is not because alone about an incumbency. It was also a lot of left voters trying to say that they don't want to have Pinarayi at the helm, and they want a change in leadership, and therefore they wanted to send that message across quite strongly to the CPM as well as to the CPI and other parties as well. So they wanted the left constituents to also understand that. So that is something that we are looking at. So they are already going to be deliberating on that particular aspect of it. But at the same time, when it comes to the KPCC chief, it's going to be another balancing act which the High Command will have to do. As of now, Sunny Joseph will continue with, but there is the issue about a person having 2 posts that will also come into play.
Interesting times ahead for the Kerala Congress unit, but thank you, Varghese, for getting us all those details. Now, India rejected Dutch Prime Minister Rob Jetten's reported remarks on India's declining media freedom and erosion of religious and minority rights. ME asserted that the country is a vibrant democracy that guarantees a free speech to all. Addressing the media during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the Netherlands, a Ministry of External Affairs official stressed the so-called concerns stems from the lack of understanding of the country, stressing India's civilisational depth and pluralism. The official also said, and I quote, that we face these kinds of questions basically because of the lack of understanding of the person who asked the question, unquote, said Sibi George, the Secretary West in the Ministry of External Affairs. Now, George highlighted how India belongs to a civilization that is 5 millennia old, stressing the country's cultural, religious and linguistic diversity. Well, India has put out a strong rebuttal to Dutch Prime Minister Rob Jetten's reported remarks on India's declining media freedom and erosion of religious and minority rights. Now, the External Affairs Ministry has asserted that the country is a vibrant democracy that guarantees a free speech to all. Addressing the media during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Netherlands, a Ministry of External Affairs official stressed the so-called concerns stemmed from a lack of understanding of the country, stressing India's civilisational depth and pluralism. The official said, and I quote, "We face these questions basically because of the lack of understanding of the person who asked the question," said Sibby George, the Secretary West in the Ministry of External Affairs. Now, George highlighted how India belongs to a civilization that is 5 millennia old, stressing the country's cultural, religious and linguistic diversity. Now, a fresh flashpoint has emerged in West Asia's fragile ceasefire landscape after United Arab Emirates blamed Iran for its proxies for a drone strike near the strategically critical Barakah nuclear power plant. The incident triggered a fire outside the facility, raising a global alarm over the risk of attacks near civilian nuclear infrastructure. Now, while UAE authorities confirmed there was no radiation leak or damage to reactor operations, the strike has intensified fears of a wider regional escalation. The attack comes amid stalled Iran war ceasefire talks, with US President Donald Trump warning Tehran that the clock is ticking. The fire broke out near the Barakah nuclear plant in Abu Dhabi's Al Dhafra region, home to Arab world's first commercial nuclear energy facility. Now, the UAE officials described the incident as a dangerous escalation, though they stressed that the reactors remained safe and fully secure. Barakah is one of UAE's most critical infrastructure projects, supplying nearly 25% of the country's electricity needs. Built with South Korean assistance, the multi-billion-dollar facility is central to Abu Dhabi's energy diversification and climate strategy. 3 of Barakah's 4 reactors are already operational, while the 4th remains in its final commissioning phase. Now, the incident drew immediate international attention because even limited disruption near nuclear infrastructure can trigger fears of radioactive contamination and environmental disaster. Modern nuclear plants are built with multiple safety systems, but experts warn that attacks on surrounding infrastructure, including cooling systems, power lines or backup mechanisms, can create unpredictable risks. The International Atomic Energy Agency has repeatedly cautioned that nuclear facilities must never become military targets. The geopolitical shockwaves were felt immediately in the global energy markets. Oil prices jumped more than 2% on Monday, and as traders reacted nervously to rising tensions in the Gulf and fears of further disruptions in the region's energy infrastructure. The spike reflected growing concerns that attacks targeting critical facilities in West Asia could destabilize global oil supplies and shipping routes. India also reacted sharply to the development, where the Ministry of External Affairs has called the strike unacceptable and warned that it represents a dangerous escalation in an already volatile region. New Delhi urged all sides to exercise restraint and return to diplomacy immediately. India's concern reflects not only its strategic partnership with the UAE, but also its growing cooperation with Abu Dhabi in civilian nuclear energy. Now, why India is concerned is because in 2024, India's Nuclear Power Corporation and the Emirates Nuclear Energy Corporation signed a major civil nuclear cooperation agreement focused on technology, operations and future investment. For India, Barakah is not just a UAE energy asset, but a part of a broader strategic and economic partnership in West Asia. The latest incident has once again exposed how drone warfare and precision strikes are reshaping modern conflict zones. with civilian infrastructure increasingly caught in the crossfire. And with the ceasefire negotiations showing little progress, fears are now growing that even a limited escalation around nuclear facilities could trigger far wider geopolitical consequences.
Oil prices extended gains on Monday, hitting two-week highs as efforts to end the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran appear to have stalled. That comes after a nuclear power plant in the United Arab Emirates came under attack, and as U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to discuss military options in Iran. International benchmark Brent crude climbed around 2% to over $110 a barrel in Asian morning trade, with U.S. oil seeing similar gains. Emirati officials said they were investigating the source of the strike on the Barakah nuclear power plant.
Now, Pakistan has once again appears to be cornered on the global stage regarding the issue of terrorism. In photos and videos currently going viral on social media, Talha Saeed, the son of Lashkar-e-Taiba chief Hafiz Saeed, and the organization's co-founder Amir Hamza have been openly spotted alongside prominent Pakistani political leaders. Now, in these images on your screens right now, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan's Information Minister Ataullah Tarar and senior leader Ehsan Iqbal also appear to be sharing a stage with these alleged terrorists. Consequently, questions regarding the relationship between Pakistan and terror organizations have once again begun to surface. Now, actions that were previously conducted in secret are now coming out into the open. India has long accused Pakistan of harboring terrorists, and the images that have now surfaced appear to have further substantiated these allegations. Now, the Indian rupee has been the worst performing Asian currency in 2026, with a 5.5% fall in its value since the conflict began on 28th February. Monday was the fifth consecutive trade session in which it reached a record low. Now, the Indian rupee weakened to a record low of 96.2 against the United States dollar amid elevated global oil prices and economic headwinds caused by the conflict in West Asia. The previous low was 96.14, reached on Friday. Now, the internal deliberations among policymakers in Delhi and Mumbai over the last few weeks have underlined the counter effects of artificial stabilization of the rupee that preceded the slide that began in 2025. My colleague Karthik Malhotra joining me live right now to tell us more about the story. Well, Karthik, I want to begin by asking, of course, we understand the impact of the West Asia war that India and the world over, all of the nations are feeling. But essentially, what does it mean? Does it mean that rupee is weak because America is strong or because India is struggling somewhere?
No, I think what it means is pretty obvious, Yame, and that's the fact that it is the petrodollar once again, which is the big sort of question mark on currencies across the world. And India, the fact that India imports about 85 to 88% of all its energy needs. As soon as you see any spike in crude oil prices, you are eventually using Indian rupees. You're selling Indian rupees to buy dollars, and then you're paying dollars to buy that energy. So the fact is that even this morning, Brent is trading at about $110 a barrel. In fact, inching closer to $111 a barrel. So the point is that you still need to satisfy and satiate your energy needs, and for that you need oil, and crude oil particularly coming from West Asia, and that crude oil is expensive. So every time the price goes up, your demand for dollars increases, and you end up buying those dollars by selling Indian rupees, and that is adding pressure to the Indian rupee, which, as you said, is trading at about 96.20 this morning.
But Karthik, what does this mean essentially for a layperson when we are talking about the artificial stabilization of the rupee that preceded the slide that began in 2025? Are we reeling under that impact?
No, so actually, you know, the appreciation was engineered by the central bank, by the Reserve Bank of India, and there are multiple tools in the kitty of the RBI to keep the rupee stable. So at one point, if you remember last year, the government had decided to go, in fact, early this year, not last year, the government, the Reserve Bank of India, had decided to put some sort of a cap as much as $100 million on net open positions of banks. So this was primarily done to ensure that in the futures and options market, there is no speculative trade happening against the Indian rupee. So that was one of the moves that the RBI had initiated. Then, of course, there is also this larger sort of issue that India is facing right now, with inflation likely to hit Indian shores. The margin outlook for corporate India not looking very good. It's all sort of, moving into a direction that FIIs are continuously pulling money out of the Indian markets. So you're seeing an impact on the stock markets. You're seeing RBI doing some sort of an artificial process orientation to keep the rupee's decline under check for some, for as long as it can afford to do that. And one of those was the sort of, artificial appreciation, which was done by keeping that price ceiling and restricting the net open positions by banks to avoid speculative trading in the F&O space. But beyond that, again, I mean, the RBI does have options, and these are going to be aggressive options. For example, selling more of India's forex reserves. The RBI has already, over the course of 2025 and 2026, sold as much as $100 billion worth of its forex reserves, which are held in the US dollar denominated currency. So these are obviously, rainy day reserves which have been created over decades, and shelling them, and India is now down to below $700 billion. So just selling the dollar reserves that you have is not actually the most prudent thing to do as far as monetary policy goes. Now, you also mentioned, Samya, and that's an important point, that the Indian rupee is in fact the worst hit currency globally this calendar year. The Indian rupee is down more than 5%, in fact 5.5% or so if numbers serve me right. And that's also because India doesn't have something that the world needs to buy from India. Of course, there are things that India sells which the world wants to buy, but the difference between wants and needs is what is actually holding foreign sort of buyers back right now. Given the fact that we don't have an AI play, we don't have a very robust semiconductor play at the moment, and of course we don't have oil. These are essentials and these are drivers of industry which are working in favor of course, the West Asian countries, but also in favor of China, also in favor of South Korea, also in favor of Taiwan and Japan. And these are not the advantages that India has. And as a result, because this play seems to be missing from the corporate India story, there isn't really in it for foreign investors to flock back to India.
Absolutely, Karthik. Thank you for getting us all those details and for your insights. We shall leave it at that for the moment. Now, the rate card for the leaked NEET paper originated in Pune. From Pune, this rate card was distributed to Latur, Nashik, Nagpur, Nanded, Beed, Akola, Solapur and various other districts across Maharashtra. And at this rate card spread to other states across the country, middlemen added their own commissions, thereby inflating the prices listed on the card. The role of the Maharashtra model is becoming increasingly substantiated. The CBI is currently conducting raids across the country in connection with this matter. So far, a total of 9 individuals have been apprehended in this case, 5 of whom hail from Maharashtra alone, and notably, 2 of the alleged masterminds have also been zeroed down in this case belong to this particular state. According to sources, reports suggest that another significant arrest in connection with this case is expected to take place within the next few hours. Now, this rate card for the NEET paper scam originated in Pune. Manisha Mandhare, a botany and zoology teacher at Modern College in Pune, and P.V. Kulkarni, a chemistry teacher at the KKC Coaching Institute in Pune, were the ones who initiated this rate card. The rate was initially set at 2 lakh rupees per student per paper. However, as per the information travelled from Pune to Latur and eventually reaching Nagpur, the price would escalate to as much as 10 lakh rupees. Security forces launched operations in Manipur's Kangpokpi district to rescue those who are still being held hostage by armed groups. Police said on Monday that the area domination exercise and the search operations are also being carried out in different parts of the Hill District to rescue all missing persons and arrest those responsible for holding hostages, is what a senior officer said. 31 of around 38 people belonging to the Kuki and Naga community who were held hostage by armed groups in Kangpokpi and Senapati district were released on 14th and 15th May. Now, these people were taken to undisclosed locations after suspected militants shot dead 3 church leaders and injured 4 others in Kangpokpi on 13th May, while a civilian was gunned down and his wife was wounded in Noni district.
They were abducted. There's a boy named Hengun Se Khongsai, a student of Young Pillars College, Lamka. He had just completed his class 11 final exams. Now, Hengun Se is still a minor. He's only 16 years of age. He also has a disability, and he's essentially an orphan. His mother left him when he was a child, and his father passed away this January. Now, his friends have started their class 12 classes a week ago. He could not come. He's still in Tapau village. He was in Tapau village to earn his fare money just to come from his village to Lamka. Now, we're talking about a poor, impoverished, orphaned, disabled child. So I earnestly appeal to the government at the state and the center, to all the security agencies, and to all right-thinking community leaders across the region to please put an end to this madness. Let us give peace a chance. Let good judgment prevail, and let us release all the hostages on all sides, including our boy Hengun Se Khongsai.
Now, meanwhile, the Kuki in Manipur, which is the KIM, has extended its ongoing total shutdown in all Kuki Zo inhabited areas across the state. The extended shutdown came into effect at midnight on 17th May, adding 48 hours to the initial agitation. Normal life and business activities remain paralyzed in Hill District, most notably bringing Kangpokpi to a complete standstill. Medical emergencies and essential humanitarian services are exempted from the strike. Situation remains tense in Manipur as security forces launch operations in Manipur's Kangpokpi district to rescue those who are still being held hostage by armed groups, police said on Monday, where the area domination exercise and search operations are also being carried out in different parts of the Hill District to rescue all missing persons and arrest those responsible for holding hostages. Now, 31 out of the 38 people belonging to the Kuki and Naga communities who were held hostage by armed groups in Kangpokpi and Senapati district were released on 14th and 15th May respectively. These people were taken to undisclosed locations after suspected militants shot dead 3 church leaders and injured 4 others in Kangpokpi on 13th May, while a civilian was gunned down and his wife was wounded in the Noni district. The Kuki in Manipur, which is the KIM, has extended its ongoing total shutdown in all Kuki Zo inhabited areas across the state and has extended the shutdown till midnight on 17th May, which adds 48 hours to the initial agitation. The normal life and the business activities have been thrown out of gear. It all remains paralyzed in the Hill District, most notably bringing Kangpokpi to a complete standstill, although medical emergencies and the essential humanitarian services are exempted from the strike. Now, a heat wave will hit parts of central and northwest India, including Delhi, as per a press release by the Met Department. The IMD announced that both the daytime and night temperatures were markedly above normal. That's more than 5.1 degrees Celsius above the normal in many regions on 16th May, including in parts of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar and Gujarat. Now, the maximum temperatures in Delhi are predicted to hit 45 degrees Celsius on 18th, 19th and 20th May. IMD has announced that heat wave conditions would occur over some pockets of Rajasthan from 17th to 23rd May and over Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh and Delhi from 18th to 23rd May. Maximum temperature in Delhi are predicted to hit 45 degrees Celsius on 18th, 19th and 20th May, while Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra's Vidarbha region will witness a heat wave till 21st May and Chhattisgarh on 20th and 21st May. In Telangana, the heat wave will hold sway from 17th May to 23rd, and Western Rajasthan will witness warm nights on 17th and 18th May.